Welcome to the Explainer. You ever look at an old computer and just see, a box gathering dust? Well, today we're going to show you how to turn that very box into a live server, one that's hosting a website for the whole world to see. We are diving deep into a step-by-step guide to building your very first home data center. And you want to know the best part? The proof that this actually works? The Explainer you're listening to right now? Yeah, it's being broadcast from a home data center built on the exact same principles we're about to walk through. This isn't just theory, folks, it's happening live. In fact, to be totally transparent, I was brought to life following this very guide. My whole platform, my voice, everything. It's the proof of concept. So let's get into it and see exactly how it's done. Okay, let's start with a little message from the machine. That's me. And talk about how this whole explainer is, in itself, a living, breathing proof of concept. So, the guide we're walking through today comes straight from a blog post by Skill Wanderer's founder, and our goal is pretty simple. We're going to take his process and turn it into a tangible, functioning result. We're going to bring a computer to life. First things first, your first home server. Step one always begins with the hardware. You can use an old laptop, a desktop, a mini PC, whatever you've got. Let's take a look at the specs you should aim for. The guide does a great job of breaking this down based on your ambition. So if you're just dipping your toes in, maybe building a little proof of concept, a 4-core CPU with 16 gigs of RAM is a fantastic place to start. But if you're thinking long-term, a workhorse server, bumping that up to an 8-core CPU and 32 gigs of RAM is going to give you all the breathing room you need to grow. Now, once you've got your hardware sorted, the software setup is, believe it or not, surprisingly straightforward. You start with Ubuntu Desktop. It's super user-friendly, especially if you're coming from Windows or macOS. And from there, you'll use this amazing tool called Docker to spin up a WordPress site. You get a real, tangible website up and running in minutes. So, what is this Docker thing anyway? Well, think of it like a standardized shipping container, but for software. It bundles up your entire application, in this case WordPress, along with absolutely everything it needs to run, like databases and web servers, all into one neat, tidy package. This means it'll run the exact same way, no matter where you put it. It's a real game changer. Okay, this is a huge step. You now have a website running on your machine, but right now, you're the only person who can see it. It's time to take it public and show your creation to the world. To get your site online, it really boils down to 3 core steps. First, you need a domain name. That's your unique address, like skillwanderer.com. Second, you got to connect your server to the internet. You can do that with a static IP from your provider, or even better, using a service like Cloudflare Tunnel. And finally, you'll configure Cloudflare to handle all the traffic. And this, right here, is why Cloudflare is just so incredibly powerful. Even on their free plan, you get features that used to cost a fortune. We're talking a free SSL certificate for security, a web firewall to block the bad guys, and a smart caching plan to make your site lightning fast for visitors all over the globe. The value is just insane. Okay, now, before we pop the champagne, the guide points out one very crucial reality check. This is something that can absolutely make or break a self-hosting project. And it has nothing to do with your hardware or software. It's all about your connection to the outside world. And here it is, the big one, your internet upload speed. A lot of home internet plans give you blazing fast downloads, but they really choke your uploads. And if your upload speed is less than about 100 megabits per second, your visitors might have a really slow, frustrating time. This one number is absolutely key. But hey, assuming your speed check gets a thumbs up, getting to this stage is a massive, massive win. Seriously, you've successfully built a functional server. You've deployed a modern containerized application. You have a live website on the public internet, and you've put a secure foundation in place. This is the whole goal of the day one build, and it is a huge milestone. But of course, getting the server live is really just the starting line, right? The journey doesn't end here. Your immediate next steps are to actually configure your application. Get that WordPress site set up properly, and maybe dive a little deeper into Docker to see how it really works. And hey, if this is going to be a long-term thing, planning for backups just became your top priority. What you've just built is an incredibly powerful foundation. And that one single server, well, that's the first Lego brick in what can become an entire ecosystem. Let's zoom out and see how you can scale from one server to a much bigger world using the Skill Wonder platform itself as our guide. So think about it this way. Your goal was to get one website live.
The goal for the Skill Wanderer platform is just a scaled-up version of that exact same idea. We're using the same core principles to power a full learning ecosystem. Our blog, our learning system, our identity services, the whole shebang. All from a home data center that started out just like yours.
And I really want this to sink in. The tools you just learned about, Docker for packaging up applications and Cloudflare for security, are the exact same technologies powering this entire ecosystem you see here, from our knowledge base all the way to our hands-on learning dojo.
And here's why that should matter to you. Skill Wanderer is a nonprofit, and it's built on a foundation of practical, hands-on tech education. So by building our own platform, every single challenge we face, every solution we figure out, it becomes real-world content, an authentic guide that we can share directly with learners like you. We build, we learn, and then we teach.
So, in the end, that old computer that might be sitting in your corner, it's just a box full of potential. It's just hardware until you give it a purpose. And by following these steps, you can give it a really powerful one. So the only real question left is, what will you build?